There it is. We're back, baby.
Hey,
I like that, Josh.
I was gonna say you've been watching a lot of Scott. I can tell.
Baby, we're back. It's time.
Baby, come back.
Yep, that's it.
Numero uno.
Yeah, the penultimate question. He's just so clever. He's quick-witted.
I love that
Comes
man.
up with funny things.
Who?
Scott Rogowski.
He's
HQ?
so good.
Oh, I'm
He's
thinking-
so good.
I honestly thought of Monsters
He
Inc.
makes
I
me-
thought it was Mike Rogowski.
Yeah.
What is
Mike
Scott
Rogowski.
Rogowski from?
HQ, the game show trivia question on your
yeah.
phone.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I keep.
He's so good. He makes me hate all the other hosts, like violently hate all the other hosts, and they would probably be fine if I wasn't used to Scott.
Yeah, right.
He's so
He
good.
just sets that bar so high. But all right, well, we're gonna get going here on the audio. We got your Audacity ready to go.
Yep.
Ready.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 151.
Chat.
What?
We're back. It's the new year. We've got exciting things happening. I need your intro to be way more excited than that. We're back. No.
I know. And see, the thing is, I have children sleeping literally right behind me. Child, not children, one child. And I'm afraid to really get over boisterous.
I thought you were in your basement.
I am.
Oh, so
Oh,
you
that's
have a lot of
exciting.
your rooms down in the basement?
Yeah, we have 2 rooms in our basement. So I share a wall with the oldest. He's
I
probably
see.
sleeping already. However, we're back for 2018's first live episode.
You know what? Let me do it. Guys, we're back. It's 2018. E3 is coming later.
Oh,
this
geez.
year.
It's already starting.
Yeah, right.
Later this year.
God.
Also, Game Scoops is coming back this episode. We've been missing it.
True. It's true.
Also, Paco abandoned us. And I'm calling you out on the podcast.
You're not supposed to do that.
No,
when
no,
it comes
man.
to
I know
those things.
Things come up. So I'm just gonna have to up my own patronage to my own show
Huh.
and keep it coming in. Keep the ball moving. Next giveaway's going to me. Next giveaway going in my pocket.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Dave. That's what I feel on the inside. I just can't do that. So I appreciate you doing so. But yeah, that's Dave and Josh, as always, here with us as well.
Me and everybody's probably heard my cat already. So
Yeah,
Carlisle's back too.
new co-host, Carl. Not new old co-host
Right.
for 2018.
Yeah.
So the first episode for 2018, we're excited to be back. It's been like 3 weeks since we've done an actual live podcast. You, the listener, has not missed a beat. You had a podcast every week all the way through the holidays because that's how we roll. But we're back live for you here on YouTube, and we're going to get into all the things we're going to talk about like we usually do, the new releases. There's lots of free games for January we've learned about. We have some news that you can use, as well as Game Scoops 20 questions that Dave mentioned. I also have a topic that we're going to discuss regarding our 2018 gaming plans. But before we get into that, I do want to say, we're going to try some new things this year. We do have plans. I know all the podcasts, they say that unless they're hosted by big websites that just keep doing the same thing over and over again, because what are you going to do? Go somewhere else? IGN? No, you're not. They're going to just keep listening to them. But we, as the common man, the average Joe, if you will, we have some plans to push and give some good things away to you, to try to drive some traffic to our YouTube page, have some good content there that you can watch, maybe some game reviews, some Let's Plays, maybe even some walkthroughs, things like that. So stay tuned on South Dakota Gamer page here over at Facebook and on YouTube for all the announcements that we do plan. You're definitely going to want to subscribe to the YouTube page so that you can see all our things that we're going to be doing this year. But for now, let's get into all the things video games, starting with what we've been playing lately, brought to us by Patreon supporter and good friend of ours, Papa Andy. Papa Andy has got those twin girls. They're getting bigger every day. Hopefully he's getting more and more sleep every day, but I wouldn't count on it because babies are hard.
Speaking of
awesome,
babies, Chad, I can't help.
Yeah. Oh no, Dave's got an announcement. Go.
Oh boy.
No, not me. No.
Speaking of babies.
No. I mean, I may be known for moving fast in some areas of my life, but not this fast. Not this fast. I actually made an impulse decision today, but it's not about me. It's about you. I was just going to say, it's supposed to be a very small tangent here, but I was just going to say, going into the 2018 year and you having moved and having everything set up, you remind me of me when I first moved to Texas and I was literally recording where people were sleeping everywhere. Because I don't know if you can tell, but you're more somber. Everything you're doing is just low key, and that's what kids will do to you.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of loud times that you'll have when they're awake, basically whenever they want, or sometimes when you're asleep and then they decide to get up. Can also be loud. But anyway,
true.
Papa Andy, you've been a constant for SDG. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Enjoy my old Xbox.
That's right. Well, good. Thank you for that. You're 100% correct. Well, Dave, like I mentioned, it's been a few weeks since we've been talking about what we've been playing. So why don't you start us off with all the things that you have been playing lately?
Well, I got to say, it's not been a lot. That doesn't mean I've not played a lot. I just haven't played a big variety of games. But I will tell you a little bit about some of them. I'll start with an old classic, one that has been deleted and reinstalled by one of us. Ye old Rocket League. Now, as I mentioned in the podcast, I went ahead and bought an Xbox One on Black Friday and am back into the mix of Microsoft and Xbox and some of the great exclusives. I mean, I haven't touched them at all, but I already, just as a standard thing, I re-downloaded Grand Theft Auto 5, even though I've got it on my PlayStation 4, because my better player save and everything is on Xbox. I also re-downloaded Ori and the Blind Forest, the Definitive Edition, because man, oh man, I'm telling you what, if Ori and the Blind Forest would have came out in 2017, I would have been fighting you. And I don't think I would have had to fight very, very hard or fought very hard, but it would have been probably in my top 5. Actually, I'm going to say it would have been in my top 5 because that game is an incredible game. Incredible, like Metroidvania style game. I can't wait to play it again. But that's not what I played. I played some Rocket League with a friend of the show, Tyler, and friend of the hosts of the show, but not necessarily of the show. Well, I gotta say, he did enter some of the drawings, so I would have to say friend of the show, TJ Evans.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not worried about what he thinks about
friend
this.
Friend of the host of the friend of the show.
We're not giving away a PS4, so he's not gonna listen to this episode. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's always fun. Rocket League's just fun when you're not worried about, now, Josh, you've played it since they've added voice to talk, right? Voice to text. They actually is that just Xbox, I wonder? No, it can't be. It must be PlayStation.
Yeah, it's got to be both. I don't know. I haven't played one.
You can now open up your chat and then hit a button, and it'll basically be like your iPhone or whatever phone you've got. When you push the little talk to text button, it'll go dink, and you talk, and then it sends. Now, sometimes it sends things that are way off, and what Tyler and TJ decided was a rule, which I now follow this rule, is whatever you talk and it says, you have to send it, even if it's not. So it makes it I
love it.
But man, the game's just so good.
It's like a little meta game inside the game.
Yeah. And then I also played, actually, this one was an impulse buy. I got online. I've been playing a lot of PUBG, which is what I was going to, I've been playing PUBG. That's what I've been playing for the most, or the most, and for the longest time over the holidays. But I'm not really talking about that because we've talked about it a lot. Chad, you might want to talk about it a little bit, some of our stories or whatever you can tell. But in between that, I jumped online and I remember seeing, oh yeah, here's a lot of my friends that don't have PlayStations that I used to play with all the time, and we kind of, didn't play a lot. So I started playing with my brother again, especially, even though he's got a PlayStation 4, he doesn't do a lot of online gaming. But my cousin, but then a bunch of my friends from Michigan I saw were playing Overwatch on Xbox. And I was like, oh man, I jumped in their party and they're like, oh gosh, Dave, I haven't seen you for so long, blah, blah, blah. Do you need to buy Overwatch? I was like, I wonder. I went and looked. It was on sale for like $30.
Nice.
So I bought it right then and there. Bought it. It downloaded in like 15 minutes, and then I was playing with them. So I was
cool.
It was really fun. I got back into it again. They've added, since I last played with mainly just the Steel Brothers. They've added more the character. I can't remember when that happened, but it happened last year, I think, at the beginning of the season. She was like wrecking me, man. I had no idea how she played. I didn't know how, it was crazy, but it was fun. I still had some play of the games, brushed off the dust a little bit, and even on the Xbox, just felt like home. So I loved it. Cool. So basically, that's Rocket League, Overwatch, and PUBG. Would have been
nice. Okay. So I'm surprised you don't want to bring up your chicken dinner. Like, you just no big deal. Now,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
hey, I got a chicken dinner.
Yeah, I've won. Well, I mean, I won in PUBG.
Nice.
I had a single player win. Now, I started playing it very soon. Like when I first got it, my brother and my cousin and me got in a game, and we matched up with a random for group, because they made a lot of updates that are very helpful. Before they had the current update where you can play, they made it to where you can you can play as solo, obviously, you can play as duo, or you can play as any of the number situations in a group of 4. So you can jump into the group play where there's teams of 4, but you can go in solo if you want. Like one time I jumped into group play solo just by myself, and I actually made it into the top 10. I was like feeling really good. Of course, I didn't have any kills. It was just me like stealthing around everywhere. But you can go in as 2 into a group and go in as 3 into a group, because before they did that, and you just had 3, it would take forever to find
that one,
a 4th random person. And sometimes you could tell it wasn't because it was just taking a long time to find somebody. It was because the game actually, the algorithm or whatever code made it happen wasn't working right, because we back out, start a new party and search, and it would immediately put someone in. And it would do that. Like we would try that, and that was like a proven method to actually get in. So now they've made it to where it's much more easier. But my brother, my cousin, and I got matched up with a random. We went all the way to the end. The random was very helpful. He actually played very smart. We weren't even communicating with him. He just like knew what to do and distract, and we ended up winning. That was my first chicken dinner, was a group. Then my very next one, not my very next game, but my next win, I think, was solo. I finally got one. I played a lot of solo, and I had a package that had dropped, which had I can't remember the name of it. It's a really good sniper rifle, and there was a ghillie suit in there. And I saw it drop, and I'm like, man, we were already down to like 19, which was another crazy thing about this. I got kicked out of that game and reloaded back in, as anybody who
still was alive
has played it knows. Still was alive. Got down to 19. Saw the guy, anyways, down to 19. I was like, I don't think I should go for this crate because people are going to be watching it. And then I decided I'm just going to watch it. So I saw a guy go to it, hit him a couple times, but then he got to the other side of the box, and I couldn't get him. So I'm like, crap, well, I better get out of here. Well, then later, we're down to 4 people. No, we're down to 5 people. I all of a sudden see the guy in the ghillie suit by a rock watching this house that's just in the corner of the circle. There's a firefight going on in this house with like the other 3 guys. So I turn, I look, I headshot him, kill him. I was like, awesome. I run over there. It was the guy that had gotten in the box.
Nice.
And so I'm glad I didn't kill him right there, because I probably would have got killed trying to loot him, or I would have had to just have left the loot. So I ran to the rock, put on the ghillie suit, got the sniper rifle, loaded it. I'm looking at the house. I'm seeing a firefight. All of a sudden, I realized, crap, it's me and one dude.
Oh, wow.
There's just me and one dude left. And I saw him run, and I thought, I don't want to shoot yet. I said, if I miss, he's going to know where I'm at. I started, my hands were sweaty, knees weak, arms were heavy, just vomit on a sweater already, mom's spaghetti. But I bided my time. He ran behind a rock, and he started looking for me. We were in like one of the smallest circles. We might have been in the last circle, because I don't remember it ever pressuring me to move. But I saw him poke out a little bit, and I'm like, not good enough for a shot. Got to wait. Saw him poke out again. I'm like, not good enough for a shot. And then I started seeing him. I'm thinking, I think he knows where I'm at. Like, the way he's doing this, I think he might know where I'm at. Suddenly, I'm like, I got to just be ready. So I aimed at one side. He poked his head out, like he leaned and looked right at me, and my crosshairs are lined right up with his head, and I shot in one, and I was like, I was freaking out. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. It was
That's awesome.
awesome. Winner, chicken dinner. Then all of a sudden, chat's like, "Hey, me and Brian are playing. Got him with them, and then we won."
Yeah, right away.
Awesome.
Like it was two wins back to back. Felt really good. So I've had a group win, actually 2 group wins, I guess, because it wasn't a duo, and a single player win. So I haven't had that duo win yet. I've been so close.
Yeah.
Lots of second places, lots of third places, lots of top 5s. But yeah, I mean, I kind of was staying away from PUBG because you can talk. There's so much you can talk about. It does bring up a lot.
I know. I just want to bring that up.
I will tell this one story, then I'll go, and then I'll let it go. Because I think Tyler was like, "Oh man, we got to tell this story," and I don't think we ever have. But it was me and Tyler. We drop in. We try to go to this one place, and Tyler didn't make it, so we were separated, and he got dropped in a place that had like 2 houses, right? And I got dropped in a place that had like 4 houses and a barn. So I'm like, okay, there's other guys here. I know there are, but I'm looting. Well, Tyler's like, I can't find anything, and I see 2 people. He's like, oh crap, they're chasing me. They're chasing me. He's like, and then I'm like, well, where are you? He's like, well, if they must have guns because they haven't shot me yet, but they know I don't. But there's more of them than me, so I can't win in a fist fight. He's like, oh crap, they're chasing me. So I'm like, I got a gun. So I start running towards him. We're literally running on opposite sides of a hill, right? So Tyler crests up the hill. I see him. They're running behind him.
Chariots of Fire starts playing.
And then they come up. Yeah, they come up behind him and see me. It was like Han Solo in A New Hope when he's in the Death Star and he runs chasing the stormtroopers, and then he comes around and there's a bunch of them shooting back at him because I killed one. I shot one with a pistol. Boom, 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 dead. His friend's like, oh crap. His friend starts booking it. Starts running. Tyler's laughing. He like drew him right to me. We downed one of them. Tyler got his stuff. We start taking off after the other guy. Eventually caught up with him and mowed him down. But it was just a fun story. So
that's amazing.
I wanted
that game creates so many fun stories. So many individual things.
I cannot wait for that game to come to PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got some.
I've considered so many times jumping in on PC, but like there's just no way. Like I can't.
Yeah,
I can't keep up with the mouse and keyboard people.
Yeah, you practice, you might get good. But yeah, that's the thing about that game is it never goes the same way. The same thing never happens twice. And if you're playing with friends, the situations you come into are just either they're great because you play well together. Like if you're playing a serious game and it's tactical, you play well, you move together, you stay in the shadows, or you just go nuts and Dave drives off ravines into water with his vehicle and can't get out. And Tyler tries to go back and save him and he gets killed.
Hey.
Right. I'm just saying the point of that story is just that crazy things happen and they're hilarious.
This sounds like Ghost Recon Wildlands all over again.
Yeah, kind of with a little more tension. Like there's no AI, in PUBG. Yeah. AI is easy to kill in Ghost Recon. Where they're real people. But yeah, that game is just when I'm not playing, I'm thinking about playing it. Like talking about it right now makes me want to go play it right now. So it's that kind of game. I really enjoy it. So I've been playing that as well. I have yet to win a solo. I've won a couple of the squads, like Dave was talking about, one with him. And I think I did win another random one or something. I can't remember. But I've won a couple. I want to get that solo one. That's like the badge of honor there to win on your own. I also, let's see here, played some more Assassin's Creed. I really want to finish that game here before January is over. Like that's my goal, is to finish that one up. So that way I can get through that story. And that's one of my goals. And the only other thing I played, because with the holidays and everything been kind of busy, is Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
I'm so excited to hear about this game.
Have you guys seen this, heard about it?
I saw the picture you posted and the very strange caption that you also posted with it, and then other people talking about it. And I'm like, what the heck is this thing? I'm going to tell you this right now, Chad. No matter your description in the next few minutes, I am going to buy this game on Steam. I already know that.
It was only like $7 or $8. It was only like $7 or $8, so it wasn't even a very expensive game. But I've heard about it. Man, Giant Bombcast, I've heard about them talk about it. I've heard the Giant Beast cast talk about it, and that's kind of where I heard about it. And I'm like, back up a little bit. For Christmas here for the business, Zesto, I obtained a new business computer and got myself my very first MacBook Pro that I've ever had.
You can't hear it on the podcast, but Chad's doing quote fingers every time he says business.
Business. It totally is. It totally is for business. But it's I'm going to update the Facebook page every once in a while, and that's what'll make it a business computer. So that's how that works. So I got a Mac. And for that, I'm excited. There's a lot of cool things I heard. Well, I won't say that because it could be offensive. It's a great upgrade. I'll say that. And I'm learning a lot about it. And I was like, you know what? It's like the newest one you can get. So it's an i7 processor. It's got a good graphics card. I'm like, all right, well, I could probably start getting some games on Steam. Like, I bet I could run them. And this one doesn't take a lot to run, but I heard a lot of people talk about it. So getting over it with Bennett Foddy. So the game starts, and there's really no introduction or anything like that. It's just the maker of the game, and I don't know if it's Bennett Foddy or if it's some other guy, is like narrating about how life is difficult sometimes. And life can just be unfair, but you persevere and you get through it, like real motivational speech in a very, hushed tones, very, very heartfelt. And you would think, man, this is really good speech. And the character you play is in like a cauldron, a black cauldron. He's sitting in it, and up to about his waist, and it's full of water because every time you move, the water sloshes out. And your character is shirtless. He's not very like anatomically correct per se, and he's got these really strong arms and a weird looking head and weird face, and he's carrying a hammer. And so your goal is to get across the terrain that you're in, whether it's a mountain or whatever, using only this hammer and the cauldron that you're sitting in. So you use the mouse pad or the trackpad, and wherever you move the mouse at is where his hammer will go. It'll go in a complete circle. If you go push down against the ground, he'll like kind of shoot himself up in the air, and that's how you move yourself around. And the very first thing you get to is fairly easy. I forget exactly where it is, but it's got a rock that you get to, and then there's an ore that you've got just kind of sticking out of the rock, and then there's a house that's kind of sideways, and you've got to figure a way to leverage your hammer and swing yourself up to the next level. So it seems simple enough. There is definitely gravity involved, geometries involved, physics are involved, and what happens 98% of the time is you'll slowly work your way up, and then you'll make a wrong move, and it'll just launch you off all the way back to the bottom. There are no checkpoints. There are no save points. You just have to start over. And when you get to certain points, the guy will come on and start giving you another motivational like speech about how things are just difficult. And, he gives a history of what B games are. And, it's bizarre. It's weird, it's fun, and super frustrating. So for $8, if you have a computer, it's definitely worth looking into, and it's just dumb fun. Really frustrating, dumb fun.
That sounds like exactly the weird type of thing I would expect to find on Steam.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I'm totally sold.
Yeah, I'm going to try to stream some. I just did take a screenshot of what I was doing, but I'll try to stream some so you can kind of see what it's like. Or you can go and there's many videos out there, I'm sure. So for $7 or $8, it's a lot of fun. It's so weird. So those are the only things I've been playing: Assassin's Creed, PUBG, and getting over it. Josh, what have you been up to? You've got some stories and things to tell.
I did some stuff, guys.
You did some stuff.
Since we recorded live last. So I guess letting people behind a curtain a little bit. I'm using my telling a secret hand to my, like the back of your hand to your mouth. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm letting you in on a secret. We pre-recorded a couple episodes, so we haven't actually like podcasted live for a couple weeks. So yeah, I've done some stuff in the meantime, and I'm excited about almost all of it.
That's exciting.
So the one that I'm not excited about, I played a lot of stuff. The one I'm not super excited about is Severed. So I revealed a little while back I had bought like a Vita. So I've been like trying to find some good Vita games. And so my good friends over at Kind of Funny Games at one point had suggested this game. had suggested this game called Severed. They were just all about it. They loved it so much. So I was like, Colin and Greg would never steer me wrong. So I bought Severed. It sucks.
They steer you wrong. It sucks.
In my opinion, it's like the Vita has a touchpad and it takes advantage of the touchpad. In my opinion, the Vita should not have a touchpad, and games should not take advantage of the touchpad. It just feels like a crappy phone game. Like you can barely call it a game, in my opinion. It's like it's like that. What's that? Fruit Ninja. It's like Fruit Ninja, but like instead of fruit, you're slicing monsters, and there's like a little bit of complexity with it because like you have to, in order to defend yourself, you have to slash the opposite way of a monster's slash to like block it. And then like once they're open for attack, you have to like just swipe your finger back and forth real quick on the screen to do damage. It's real dumb. It's real bad. It's so bad. So thanks a lot, Colin and Greg. But the rest of it was pretty good that I played. So
I don't think they're receiving
mail
some games together anymore.
Well, I'm gonna send it to both of them anyway.
Receiving mail together.
So the rest of what I played, like I think all of this I got like on some kind of sale or something over the holidays. Like the holidays is always a good time to get like a lot of great deals. So I played some. I finally gave in. This game called Cat Lateral Damage has been out for quite a while now. I knew like ever since it dropped, I knew it was just a real dumb game. It's more of that like platinum trash. Evan would not be happy with me, I don't think, for buying the game. But there is some skill, I guess, involved because there's like score challenges and stuff like that in order to get the platinum. It doesn't look like a very demanding platinum, so I probably will be picking it up at some point. I just have to put more time into it, but like it's exactly what it sounds like it probably is. You are a cat, and the whole thing of the game is to knock things off of shelves and break them on the floor. Yeah, which is what that's like Cat's favorite pastime. Yeah. As a cat owner, I can attest. As a cat owner, I can attest that my cat did that to my computer mouse earlier this afternoon. But he didn't break it. But it's dumb fun, and it's a first person game, so like you just see your paw like out in front of you, and you can swat left or swat right. And there's like power ups that you can get that make you jump higher, or like it makes your swat more powerful, or just real dumb stuff. It's real dumb, but I'm definitely going to be playing more of it because it was fun. And then I played. Speaking of Vita, I played some Downwell, not more Downwell.
That's cool.
I downloaded Downwell. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I like that.
Like the art it's so minimal, but it's like the art is fantastic. The gameplay, I'm going to be saying this a lot over the next few minutes, but the gameplay is surprisingly deep. Like the upgrade system, all the different guns and stuff like that. Like it feels very good to play. I like it a lot. It's very responsive, very tight, as they say.
Like a tiger.
Yeah. Like a coiled tiger. I've been playing a lot of Volume.
Very tight, like a tiger.
Cold. I've been playing a lot of Volume lately. Also is so like Volume. I'm sure this comparison has been made before, but like it's very like Metal Gear VR missions to me. It's the over the head thing. Bithell, right? Mike Bithell.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
So like it's so great, and I know like I'm late to the party on this too. A lot of people have already played it, but it's really good. Seems like an attainable platinum, so I definitely will be getting the platinum on that. I think what's other than the gameplay, which is really solid, which is really enjoyable. The other thing that sticks out to me that in that game is the dialogue between your character and the AI that's like setting up all these scenarios for you. And like the dialogue is so interesting to me, like and then the like all the text logs that you pick up too. But the dialogue is so interesting to me that like I'm severely hurting my times on all of these stages just so I can like stop and listen to the dialogue. Because like if I'm playing, I'm not really paying attention to what they're saying. Yeah. And it's so interesting, like all of the fiction and like the what's the word for it? Like the not post-apocalyptic, but like you know what I mean? Like it's very few dystopian. That's the word I'm looking for. the dystopian future that, and like the storyline that they've kind of set up, where like it's like a corporate state instead of like a government state. It's just so good. Like the fiction is really good. The story's good. So I've been playing a lot of that. I jumped back into No Man's Sky. I don't really know what prompted me to do that. Like I kind of missed it. Like I was thinking, what haven't I played for a while? And so I was just like flipping through my games, and I came across that, and I was like, I'll try it out. I know there's an update since the last time I played, so which actually took forever to download. Like it was a really big update, but well worth it. Like by the time I jumped in, like I think I texted you guys like the night that I like jumped back in and was playing some of it, but like I could probably spend 20 minutes just talking about all the different things that they did, and like improvements and like quality of life improvements, and like new systems that they've dropped into it, and like new storylines, and just all kinds of things. Like they've done so much to that game. And I was saying, like before we started recording, I think if this was the game that they had released back in 2016, I think the story would have been much, much different. Which I know, like, you know, it's like almost 2 years later, maybe 2 years later now. And like, you know, this maybe should have been the game they released when they released it. Sure. I still had a ton of fun with the original game, as I think all of us did, but like everything from the graphics, which at release were like, it was like, it seemed very stylistic, very almost cartoony. It seemed like they weren't really going for a very realistic vibe. Even the graphics at this point have been overhauled. It looks way more realistic, way cleaner. They've added like textures and plants and like planet types, biomes, or whatever they call it. Like tons of new like materials and elements, even some alien races. There's like whole new like currency systems, and like there's a bunch of like RPG systems in place now where you can like upgrade your standing with like, before you would only upgrade your standing with the 3 different races in the game, the Korvax, the Gek, and the Viking. And you would only really do that by like rescuing their ships if pirates were attacking them, or by learning words, or like interacting with them in space stations. Now there's like a missions board in every space station where you can go to like get missions. And so you can upgrade your standing in all the factions through that. But like beyond that, there's like different organizations in the game. There's like a merchants guild, and like, you know, like not a pirates guild, but like I think a warriors guild or something like that. Like there's different guilds like beyond all that you can up your standing in, and like you can, so like you're earning like the in-game currency, like you're earning credits for doing these things, or you're getting like valuable pieces of cargo, or like crafting components and things like that. Like, so the path to upgrading your equipment or getting a new ship, or like all kinds of like all that stuff, is like you have a lot more ways to do it now, besides landing on a planet that has a really valuable resource and just mining it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So, and then like they dropped in a whole new storyline, like a couple new storylines. Like there's a whole new path of the Atlas storyline to pursue. So like even if you finished it before, there's more of that.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a whole other storyline with like this mysterious signal that you get from like this person that you don't know who it is, and you're communicating with them, and you have to like figure all that out. And that's crazy. And like that goes places, and it's really good. So like even down to like the fact that now like in your ship, depending on the type of ship and how good a ship it is, you have your cargo storage spaces, and then you've got like 2 other like categories of storage where like you can put like ship components, where like before, if you put components on your ship to upgrade your weapons or whatever, your hyperdrive, it would all be in your storage. Now, depending on the ship you've got other like categories that you can put that stuff in to separate it out.
Cool.
And, like, storage. You've got
that
on
sounds
your,
better.
Yeah, you have it on your suit now, and like all kinds of things. So like, it's just It's really, really good. Like I would say if you guys enjoyed the game before, it's definitely worth jumping back in now and seeing everything they've done to it. It's almost like a brand new game, but it's really, really good. So I'll be spending more time with that too. But I like if anybody has heard bad things and maybe not checked the game out yet, I would say now is a perfect time to jump in. It's really good.
Yeah.
So then that leaves me with, I think, 2 more games on my list. So I won't spend a lot of time on Hitman Go. It's a puzzle game. It's really, really good. Really well done. I love the style. It's like super minimalist. But I platinumed that right around maybe Christmas or so. I was working on that like when I was at the in-laws over Christmas break. Like, when we had breaks and stuff like that. So I think maybe I even got that on Christmas Day. I don't remember. But definitely like another attainable platinum. It's not without its like frustrations. It's difficult. I definitely used a guide on some of the levels because it's insane. But it's really, really fun.
You should play Tomb Raider Go then if you like that.
I actually was going to download that because like they seem like similar games.
There's a little differences in exploring versus getting the suitcase and stuff like that, but yeah, if you like that one, you'll like the Tomb Raider one also. Yeah,
that's definitely on my radar now. I wasn't sure that I would like Hitman Go, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then I think the one game that I'm the most surprised by, and the game that like I'm super stoked to talk about, is Pyre. So we just recorded our Game of the Year podcast not long ago.
Yeah.
And I think Pyre was on the list. It got eliminated, I think, pretty quickly.
Yeah, because no one played it. And
yeah, we hadn't played it. And I think, honestly, like all any of us knew really about it was maybe like what we had heard on some other aggregate sites or like other people, just hearsay from like people that had played it. And so honestly, it didn't sound like my cup of tea really. Like I understood it was like some weird like fantasy RPG basketball type game with like this weird like cosmic story written around it and all this just craziness. And I was like, that sounds terrible. I don't understand how any of that fits together. Doesn't sound like my thing at all. And then like I heard Greg and Colin talk about it on Kind of Funny, like when PS I Love You was still going. And then most recently on Giant Bomb's Game of the Year stuff, they were talking about it. So after I had listened to the first couple of days of their stuff, they had talked about it so much and like we're really, really talking it up. And I was so surprised to like hear them talk about it so much. And I was telling Chad earlier, like I was even to the point of like, are they getting paid to talk about this game? Because I like to talk about it this much. I feel like it seems real dumb, and I don't understand why they're talking about it so much. But then it was on sale, so like I was like, whatever. For like, I think it's still it may be over now, but like it was $10 for a while.
This morning at the time of this recording, it's still $9.99.
So I picked it up and I was like, whatever. Like if I lose $10, I lose $10, but I'm at least gonna check it out. And then by the time like I got through some of the intro stuff and had played the first match of whatever you want to classify that sport as, like I was definitely intrigued enough that I knew for sure that I was going to at least play more of the game to like see what this was all about. But like, so to say the gameplay is surprisingly deep, I think undersells it because the game. So I'll try and like encapsulate some of it. Like it's like a weird mix between like those point and click or like text-based adventure games.
Okay.
And like a competitive sports game.
Okay.
It's sort of like basketball.
Right, that's what I've heard.
So like you play in teams of 3 and like eventually you build a roster to the point where you have to choose your 3 out of the available characters. They all have different abilities and different like pros and cons. But you play in teams of 3. The idea is to douse the enemy's pyre, which is like basically a torch, by throwing this orb into it over and over again, or like jumping into it holding the orb. You can only move when you're holding, so like you can only move one at a time, and then once you've picked up the orb, you can only control the player holding the orb. So you can pass the orb to other players, but you're only ever moving one character at a time. So all of your characters have like some sort of offensive ability. So you can do what's called banishing other players. So each character has like what they call an aura around them. It's basically like a defensive like circle. Some are bigger and smaller depending on the character. And so if another player enters that aura, then they are banished. And so like different characters take different amounts of time to come back to the playing field. Usually it's just a matter of seconds, but depending on like their stats, it could be longer or shorter. And then for each character, there's always like some sort of ability that lets you do what they call casting your aura, which is basically like throwing that in front of you or doing something to like push it further out to like try and banish players. But once you're carrying the orb, you don't have any of those abilities. So like you don't have your defensive aura, you can't cast your aura. The only thing you're doing is carrying the orb. So the strategy is to either make your player that's carrying the orb jump into their pyre, or you can like throw it in, but that takes a little bit longer too. So that's just the basics of like the gameplay, like the actual gameplay that's in this game. The rest of it is like clicking through text.
Like a story, yeah, like a Telltale kind of.
Right. But like not even that detailed. Like the story part of it isn't even that detailed. It's not like cutscenes where characters are walking around.
It's just
it's
pictures of the
just
character
all
and text.
Still art. Yeah. And then
is it voice acted or no?
So it is voice acted, but none of it is in English. It's in all like made up languages. Okay.
Interesting.
So like when a character pops up and their text comes across the screen, you'll hear like like whatever made up language they're speaking, and it's in their voice, and they do inflect, but none of it is perceivable, except for there's like a narrator of the story, and he speaks English because he's talking to you.
Okay.
So like the story's weird too, because you're like, they talk to you as like it would be player in the game. They call you a reader because you're like guiding your team as they're conducting what they call the rites, which is the game, the weird sports game. So like characters talk to you, the reader, the narrator talks to you, the reader. But like the gameplay, just like, if we're just going to talk about the gameplay, like the gameplay, I think itself is totally worthy of like picking up this game, even not at $10, like at whatever, regular price is. Like the gameplay is good and solid enough to warrant buying this game on its own. Because it like the game tells you the rules and it tells you how things work, and then it just leaves it at that. So then like the game never gives you any strategy tips. It never tells you like, hey, it might be a good idea to pair these people up, or like might be a good idea to try playing this way or try this technique. Like there's like even like the load screens that have like text on them, it's all like quotes or more stuff about the characters. It's never like gameplay tips, which I think is awesome, because like right up into the last match of the story, like the campaign, I was still learning things about strategy, and I was like still formulating strategy at that point, like new strategy things.
Interesting.
Like you could lose every single match in that game and still like play through the whole game and finish the story. So there's like a ton of different ways the story can go. Some of it depends on how the matches go. Some of it depends on like story choices you make with the characters and their dialogue and things like that. But like there are times when like I chose, so like I'm not like a gaming savant. Like the game's not particularly hard, although like there are challenging matches. But if I had wanted to, I could have won every single match that I played. But there were a couple times where I felt like it was more advantageous for me to lose the match, just because of the outcome that would happen, like if I did lose. and like part of the story and like all the matches that you play, like so, like the whole setup is that you and these people are exiled to like this netherworld type place from the real world for whatever crime like the people in the real world think you committed. And so like a lot of the object is to send as many of your team back to the real world as you possibly can. So like once you send them back, like they're gone. You can't use them on your team anymore. So like there is this whole like you have to weigh your options thing of like they're really useful, but I really would like to see them go free. And like there's this whole other thing about like this plan that's in place where you need certain people on the other side to like do things for you while you're stranded here. And like so there's all this like stuff you have to consider. So like there were times when I felt like it would be better for me to lose and keep some of my people with me for the time being.
Go. Interesting.
But like beyond that, like there were matches where I was like, okay, I don't want this person and this person on their team to score. I want the other person to score. So like I was like within the game, there were like these meta games that I ended up playing where like I was banishing certain people on the other team so that I was like only making ways for one of their teammates to score. And like it's crazy. Like it's crazy how deep just the gameplay is. And then moving past the gameplay, the story, like there's a game like this has no right, I don't think, to be as good as it is. Although like it's made by Supergiant, so like it's not a surprise that they would make a good game. But like just the weird mix and what this game is, it has no business being as good as it is. But like the story is incredibly well thought out. It's really well written. All the characters are like they're so different and they all bring like such different things to the table, and the way they interact with each other in as many ways as the stories can go. And like,
did you let the dog keep the mustache, or did you ask him to shave it?
No, I told him to shave it. I didn't like the mustache. And like, so I'll be honest. Like the first time I saw that dog, there's a dog. So there's a dog named Rookie, and he's one of the original like team members that you meet like when you first start the game. And the first time I saw him, I was like, that's a stupid freaking mustache. I hate that. Like, I hate his whole look. So there's a point in the game where he talks to you. You like travel around in this wagon, so you can like pull up the wagon, and like sometimes people wouldn't talk to you. So there's this one point where he wants to talk to you, and he asks your opinion of the mustache, and you can tell him to shave it or keep it. So I told him to shave it. So he did. Nice. And then he got like a stat boost or something. But like you could send, there's no right or wrong way to play the game. And like Supergiant has confirmed there's no like true quote unquote ending. There's no best ending. There's just different endings. So you can send people home in any order that you want. So like all the different contingencies that they had to plan for to like make that story work, depending on who you sent home when, and who's still left to interact with each other, and how that affects everything else. And like the whole world and the fiction that they build around it. And like all of the writing in that game makes this weird sports game that you're playing completely make sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem crazy or out of place or weird. Like you like it. And then it like at the end and like different points in the story, it's like really surprisingly emotional. Like I'm still thinking about the ending I got.
Yeah, you've sold me for sure. While you've been talking, I just went on the PlayStation Store app and I sent you guys a text to show you that I bought it, and it's downloading on my PlayStation right now.
All right. So. And now Supergiant owes me 50 cents.
You've at least sold one additional copy, and who knows how many more based on the listeners this week. But
I don't know. So like,
it sounds interesting. I look forward to trying it out.
At the risk of sounding like a shill for that game.
Did you?
It's a demo?
It wouldn't surprise me if they had a demo. Because I feel like people were talking about it for a long time before it actually came out. But it's
cool.
I mean, especially for that sale price, it's
$10.
So worth checking out. But like,
I might have even bought it.
Oh man,
it didn't catch me at first.
You better not have bought it. Dave,
the characters and the story and the like, just the way it all works, and then like just the gameplay of the actual like sport that they built, like all of it together, and like the different abilities you can get players, and like the different ways you can upgrade your players.
That's saying something because you're sports ball genius nut number one.
I know. I know
you're the sports guy.
I know my way around a sports ball, and I'm telling you, this is top notch sports ball.
Yeah, so it must be good. Cool.
It's just so good. I could talk, I feel like, for a very long time about Pyre. If I had played it before we did our Game of the Year stuff,
you'd have pushed for it.
I don't know. Like, this was a really, really good year for games. So I still don't know if it would have made our top 10 list, but I feel like there would have definitely still been more, way more discussion about it. Yeah. It's so good. Cool. It's really, really good.
Well, I will make sure to do some playing, and that way we can talk about it a little bit more. So cool.
Yeah. And I'm really interested, if you play through it, I'm really interested to see like what choices you make.
Yeah.
And like how you kind of work things, because it can go so many different ways.
Cool.
It's so good.
All right. I will definitely do that. All right. Well, that brings us.
HQ also.
Oh yes, HQ.
I've been playing HQ every chance I get.
Same.
And
good.
Two things. I thought it was cool that Scott Rogowski got a shout out on Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
For best new character.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't make top 3, but he definitely deserved a nomination. So shout out to Scott for that. And I'm just gonna assume that it was me. I got a shout out from Scott the other night on HQ. He said, "What's up to Josh in Chicago?" And I'm just gonna go ahead and believe that was me. So
look at you on the HQ. You're in the HQD, Josh. Yeah. Good job.
So Scott has a fan for life.
Josh, the HQD. He's Sean Murphy's bodyguard and Scott Rogowski's #1 fan.
That's right.
All right, excellent. Next, we got some, being it's January, there are some new free games with gold for Xbox and PlayStation Plus. Dave.
Yeah.
Mr. Candlelighter himself.
What's up, dude?
Run us through.
It's been so long.
We'll give Josh's voice a break. Run us through the free games that you can download this month for January.
For Xbox games with gold, you can get The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3 between January 1st and January 31st. That is The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3. There are 3 of these games. So if you are a fan...
I was going to say, I think I missed the first 2.
Yeah, if you are a fan of these games, the third one's going to be free this month. Also, BTTF.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is going to be free. This is the Telltale Games Back to the Future.
That's correct. Yep.
Nice.
January 15th from the 1st. You're talking about the 1st through the 15th.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. It was weird. I didn't know if I was missing something because chronologically it seems like that should be before Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3. If it's the 1st or the 15th. So Van Helsing is available all month. Back to the Future is only available the first half of the month, correct? Am I reading that correct?
Yeah, it's been available since the 16th of December, and the reason I just put through the 15th is because from this point through the 15th is when it's available.
So it definitely should have been before Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3.
Josh, you want to finish off?
Also, you're going to be able to get Zombie. Now, is this Zombie like the game from Wii U?
Yes.
Okay, because it was spelled weird, wasn't it?
It was Zombie U when it was on the Wii U, and then they dropped the U.
January 16th through February 15th, and then last but not
least, Zombie X.
The last 2,
but that would imply that it's a different kind of game, I think.
Tomb Raider Underworld,
the
1st through the 15th, also with no month. It's just the 1st through the 15th. I'm going to assume it's January because
there's 3 games for January.
And then the last,
I love how we just dissect
for sure, is Army of 2, the 16th through the 31st. Now, I got to say, a little bit of a shout out to Army of 2. If you've not played Army of 2 and you want to jump on one of your buddies, because it's kind of in the name there, 2 players maximum. But it's really fun. It's a fun little game, a cover-based shooter. And there's a lot of cool things you can do, like drag your buddy. Like if your buddy gets down, you can drag him he can shoot people while you're dragging him away. It's really cool. That's just one of the cool features about that game.
Very
but those are your games, the free games for January. with Xbox Gold.
Please continue with PlayStation.
The PlayStation
if you would.
games. Okay. Also, for January, I didn't know if you
better
were
in
going to
2018, guys.
I didn't know if you were going to
so much better.
I didn't know if you were going to split it up.
So much
Chad,
better.
we're rusty, man. It's been a few weeks.
The PlayStation Plus games for PS4, you're going to get Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which is the second installment. Human Revolution was the first one, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So if you wanted to get that,
Divided is the most recent game.
yeah, and it's a good game. I actually have not finished it. I own it.
I haven't
Chad
even played
owns
it yet.
Yeah, it's a good game. I think Chad talked about it on the podcast that it just wasn't for him. I like it enough to want to finish it. It's just so many other things came out. I didn't get around to it. But if you're one of those people that have always been curious, this is a perfect solution or a perfect example of why these free games are great to always download and have. Because if you want to try it, you can try it for free. Play the whole thing, beat it, whatever. Just have it forever. Just download it. Also, Batman the Telltale series already free for PS4. This is amazing. This game is incredible. If you're a Telltale fan, get this game. If you're a Batman fan, get this game. If you're a fan of both, why don't you have this game?
If you're a fan of fans,
yeah,
then get a box fan and
buy this.
Point it at
run your box fan while you're playing this game.
I am Batman. in whatever voice you want to. You can do the Christian Bale voice. You can do the Michael Keaton voice. Just don't do the George Clooney voice or even the Val Kilmer. I mean, I gotta say, Batman Forever was light years better than Batman and Robin. But still, Michael Keaton or Christian Bale. Come on.
Let's just not ever talk about Val Kilmer's Batman ever.
Also for the PSVR. And by saying that, it's required. You have to have. I mean, you could not required to buy it, but to play it, you have to have the PSVR. Starblood Arena, and then last but not least, this game was free when it came out, so it's free again. That's you. Now, if you want to go onto our YouTube channel, so let's go to Gamer YouTube channel. You can see a Let's Play of us playing That's You with several of our Patreon supporters and just fans in general.
That was a good time.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was very fun.
So
I won the most.
I'm confused about why That's You is That's You on the PS Plus game list.
It was free when it first came out, and then it wasn't for a while, and now it is again.
Okay.
So
I didn't know they started charging for it at some point.
Yeah. So it's free again for some reason.
Yep. And then I was going to say last but not least. I like saying that a lot before it's actually last but not least. That was what was
last but not last.
Yes, also on the PS3, you can get Sacred 3 and Book of Unwritten Tales 2. And then for the PS Vita, Josh, you can get Psychopaths, Mandatory Happiness. Now that's Psycho-Pass. Not Psychopath. Psychopaths.
That's a different
Mandatory Happiness. Mm-hmm. And then, last but not least, Uncanny Valley for the PS Vita and the PS4. So that's also available cross-buy.
Yeah.
Uncanny Valley. Because I said Uncanny Valley the first time.
Yeah. Uncanny Valley.
Anti-California Valley.
All right. Well, there you go. Lots of free games.
These are solid lists.
There are some good ones. Yeah. Some not so, but also some good ones for you to download. They're free. So there you go. All right. That's going to bring us quickly into the news that you can use
if you so choose
to do
so. Few items on the list this week. As you probably understand and realize, throughout December, there's not a whole lot of brand news that comes out concerning video games. There has been some things, though, here this first week of January, and we're going to cover those quickly. First off, Nintendo. We got some Nintendo things to talk about. No Switch games were talked about in the games we've been playing lately, so we probably haven't touched our Switches too much recently, but very, very many people have.
I got to make an amendment. Make an amendment.
Uh-oh.
I've been playing some Stardew Valley on my Switch.
Oh, very nice.
Actually,
you know what?
Way too much to not bring up. The reason that I didn't bring it up is because I let somebody borrow my Switch for their vacation, and I played it. I played it before that, and then I played it just a little bit after that. But yeah, I really got back into it again. Started over from scratch, and I'm excited to keep playing it. I still got to beat Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I still got to beat Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
yeah, I know. I know.
You beat Mario, so we can talk about Mario.
I know.
So I just
excited about my Switch.
It. The Switch seems like such a good place for that game. I forgot that it was coming to Switch.
I'll talk about this a little bit later, but The Escapist is coming to the Switch as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. See, I just searched it to see if Stardew Valley is coming to the Vita, which they're saying Stardew Valley is still coming to the Vita. I would hope the same thing for The Escapists. Although, Dave, man, now I can't remember if I did it or not. I think I bought The Escapists.
You don't have to say my full name when addressing me, by the way.
David.
No, he said Dave.
I think I bought The Escapists.
Man, I think I bought the like you even paused between my first and last name. It was weird.
I get it. So yeah, I'm excited to jump into that too. But
yeah, you should get a Switch, Josh. So speaking of Switch, Nintendo has pushed their online service, which they had talked about, which is one of the things that's still really, really dumb and messed up. So hopefully this means that they will adjust it and fix it. But they pushed their online service program into the fall of this year, 2018. So that's probably good.
You know what? Got to make one more amendment. Bringing up this stuff.
This is Rusty. All right.
Now I don't like doing this. I didn't like to do this. No, what I did with my Switch, I went ahead and I bought the little. I don't know if you noticed, Chad, the little arcade version of.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah, I bought it and I played it, and I'm like,
Super Mario.
I'm so upset. Mario Bros. Yeah, I was so upset as I happily bought it. If that makes any sense, because it needs to be a virtual console. And I'm buying an arcade version. The little digital artwork doesn't look right. I don't like it. It's clearly a little arcade thing.
Like it.
Yeah, it's not how it should be, Nintendo. It's not how it should be. I mean, the people on the high-end CEOs and everybody that listen to this part of our podcast, whenever we talk about Nintendo, come on, guys. Come on. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Virtual console, VC. Maybe they don't understand because we've talked about it for so long. Everybody calls it VC. Maybe they don't know that means virtual console. That's what we're talking about when we say VC.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they're delaying the online service to 2018 because they're like, we got to get this VC that those SDGamers keep talking about.
No, because they're going to focus on finishing out the SNES Classic and then re-releasing the NES Classic. They ain't they're gonna
and then they got to make plans for the N64 Classic and the GameCube Classic and the Wii Classic.
I just gotta say,
they got a lot on their plate.
This stuff, and I'm jumping around here, Chad, and I know you're gonna hate me because I'm stealing your thunder. But you owe me at least 3 or 4 of your thunders, just to be honest.
I mean, so fair, 3 or 4 of my thunders.
So I'm just saying.
Here's a thunder from me.
This Nintendo Direct that we are hearing rumors about.
Yeah, tell me about these rumors. Yeah, what are the rumors?
First of all, the date rumor is the 11th.
Correct.
But the biggest thing that's intriguing me is that people are throwing out this term E3 level. E3 level Nintendo Direct. Now, to me, an E3 level Nintendo Direct has to either include a whole lot of big titles that they're releasing, or an E3 Nintendo Direct could be only virtual console. To me, if it was just them saying, hey, everybody, it's us. The Nintendo Virtual Console is coming this year. Thanks a lot. I would be like, oh, man, this is so awesome. Come on. Yeah. I mean, I'd want to see a little bit. But just knowing that they're actually addressing it and that it exists and that it's coming, I mean, they have to say something about
January. Yeah, in January last year, the same time they did a Direct, and that's where they showed everything with the Switch. The date, the price, the games, the HD Rumble things. So that was obviously E3 level of a Direct, and that's what people are assuming and thinking that this will be that as well. And Nintendo, from the rumors and the people that have leaked things, are hinting that will be the case. Now, people have thought maybe that's what it'll be, is the virtual console stuff. It could be some game announcements. Who knows what it'll be? But yeah, to attach E3 type quality or announcements to this Direct definitely ups the hype and expectations. and undoubtedly, not undoubtedly, but could possibly fall very short of that type of hype. So the 11th is a supposed date. It's still today. I expected to get an announcement today if that is the case. We still haven't. So who knows? We'll see if that does come to fruition or not. But we'll let you know if it does. We'll definitely talk about it next week. Continuing with some of the Nintendo Switch stuff, 4.8 million Switches have been sold in the U.S. in the first 10 months, making the Switch the best-selling console in the U.S. ever of all time in the last 400 years.
That's crazy.
I mean, right?
That's crazy.
So best-selling as in like
what 400 years is a little grandiose and unnecessary, but
fair.
Still,
fair.
I mean, not untrue.
True.
Yeah, right. not untrue.
Right.
I mean,
like, are they talking about like volume in the span of like for how long it's been on the market?
Yeah, it's the previously was the Wii. The Wii was the fastest selling console in the United States, and this has surpassed the Wii's numbers in the first 10 months of any console being released.
I think more than double. I think the last time we looked at this, the Wii had sold like 2 million in the first year or year and a half.
Yeah,
and this is more than double in less time.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge for the U.S.
There's a couple things to point out. I mean, it is a funny word play because it's not it's not the best selling console. It's the fastest selling console. Sure. So if it fizzles out, that doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, like the Switch, but the Wii. But another good thing to point out about the Switch is that this is not in any way a gimmick. It's not in any way a novelty. This Switch is only building in popularity and building in people that really have come to late bloomers that have realized, oh man, this really is as cool as everybody was saying it was. It wasn't just a fad. This thing is here to stay. It's really cool.
It seems like if anything, the Switch has the opposite problem of the Wii, which was like the Wii was just like, here's what it is. This is really cool and brand new. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. And then everybody fell off really quickly. It seems like the Switch has the opposite problem, which is like, this is a really solid idea. And there are still some really, really important key things missing that they still haven't like fleshed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's sort of like an inverse, but it's a more sustainable.
It has a lot more pattern that is there, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, especially with the online stuff and the chat and things like that. But
it's what I mean is it's not leaning on a gimmick to sell things to sell itself like right up front. Like it's a solid concept, but they have like it just like it still definitely has a lot of things missing, I think still. But yeah, it just seems like it's a weird like
flip-flop of what that
switch.
Used to be.
It's a weird switch
hey.
From the to the current platform. But.
Yeah. In addition to that, I don't have this written down, but in Japan, the Switch has already either surpassed or equaled the Wii U's sales all time. So the Wii U has been out for about 5 or 6 years, Switch 10 months, and the Switch has surpassed or at least equaled in Japan, its home country, where Nintendo's headquartered. It surpassed the Wii U's total lifetime sales in less than a year. So that's pretty impressive. You could say the Switch is definitely it's a hit. People love it. So Josh, go get one. All right, next. PUBG. Some news on PUBG. We talk about that a lot. They surpassed 3 million concurrent players on Steam, which is they just keep. I mean, you remember we talked about. I don't even remember when, July, August, when they were approaching 2 million, and now they're over 3 million concurrent players. And they've also banned, at the same time they hit that number, they banned 1.5 million players for cheating and things like that. So it's crazy. Han Kim, who is Han Solo's second cousin, also the CEO of PUBG Corp, says that the goal for PUBG Corp is to be on every platform. So obviously I think we kind of expected that to be the case when it comes to PlayStation specifically, but he's even talking about like phones and everywhere that PUBG can go, he wants it to be, and that's their goal, that's their plan, that's what they want to do.
Side note, is it safe to say that Han Kim is no longer worried about getting his nephew any presents for birthdays or Christmas. I mean, killed his brother, so.
Oh, he's a second cousin, not a brother. Cousin. Yeah, so I don't know what that makes.
It would make him second cousin, third cousin, whatever, something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's a little disrespectful. I think that's still fresh. It's only been a couple of years at this point, so
yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's safe to say.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't.
I would say you're probably not wrong.
I wouldn't.
So while he was not buying presents for his cousin-in-law, nephew, third from his mother, they've been making some patches to the Xbox One version, which is the one that Dave and I have been talking about playing. And this came out here just either today or yesterday, but they added a first-person perspective mode. Like it's only solos. But everyone that plays will play in first-person perspective, so there's no advantage for the third person being able to see. So that's being added. They also patched to stabilize the frame rates better, and it also added on the sticks, which I guess I didn't realize this wasn't there, but you can accelerate with the left stick when jumping out of an airplane now. So like it not only does it like position you, which surprisingly takes people a long time when jumping out of an airplane to figure out where to go and how to orient themselves in the air to land on the markers. It's a tough business, but apparently this will add acceleration to that as well, so you can make yourself go quicker in a shorter amount of time. So that's exciting. And then a lot of other things that they patched in that aren't necessarily worth bringing up and talking about because they're kind of boring. But PUBG just keeps getting better. It's obviously in game preview on the Xbox One. It definitely does not hit the level of polish, quote unquote, that the PC version has, but it's fun nonetheless. As you've heard the stories that we've told, it'll continue to get there. So I'll look forward to that. Next, Burnout Paradise. Did you guys play any of that Burnout Paradise game?
I did a little bit. Yeah,
I used to love me some Burnout back in the day.
Burnout Paradise is the one where like there's like big changes in the scenery and big like set piece changes and stuff while you're crashing through everything, or was that Crash and Burn? Am I thinking of something else?
Don't know. I just know it's.
I thought it was Burning.
I don't remember set piece changes. There's definitely things you can crash through to get like.
Right.
There's things that you trigger, and the entire environment changes.
That could be. I know you could trigger like you could pull up stop signs.
I don't remember that
races. Yeah, but it was well known for the crash mode and things like that, and busting through billboards.
Yeah. It's a great game.
There's a rumor still, but Gamatsu has found listings in Brazil and now in Japan for basically a remake, HDify of Burnout Paradise coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in March. March 1 in the Brazilian market, and then March 16th for Japan. So we usually get them about the same time as Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. So no announcement, still rumor, but Gamatsu has found that, and it's usually pretty reliable. Another rumor, Fable 4, Chicken.
Oh boy.
Chicken Chesa there's a rumor out there, and it's very early, that it could be possibly being made currently by Playground Games, who is the developer in-house studio of Microsoft that makes the Forza Horizon games. So the open world Forza games, there's some like job listings for creating an open world game that's never been seen before. And some hints to that it could be Fable related. So this would be similar to like Guerrilla Games going from, games like what are they called? The shooters,
Killzone
to making Horizon.
Yeah.
Right. Like very different games. A racing game, very different from Fable, but it's very open world, so they got that part down. They make great games, looks wonderful. So, man, I loved Fable 1 and 2, so fun. Fable 3 kind of fell off a little bit for me. And then they did a couple of the Kinect games and things like that. They had the MOBA that they were going to do, and then they canceled. Yeah. So it's been gone for a while, but man, if we got a really current gen open world Fable game, I would be all over that.
Dude,
all over it.
All I can think about is like, I would seriously consider it. All I can think about is like with the capabilities for open world games that we have now, like seeing what they've done with Zelda and with Horizon, and even with games like Shadow of War,
Yeah.
and Shadow of Mordor, like with the Nemesis system, and like in Fable, like when Fable came out at the time, like the whole karma system was like,
change your
that
appearance.
was like, that was like revolutionary. So like knowing the history that franchise has and all the capabilities that developers have now, I really hope this is true. That would be so cool.
That'd be awesome. Very cool. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated on that. And then lastly, Monster Hunter World is a Monster Hunter game that's coming to the big boy consoles, and it's going to have its final beta starting at 8 p.m. on January 18th through the 21st. So that weekend will be the last chance. You free open beta. If you're interested in Monster Hunter, you can see the Monster Hunter World. I'm hearing lots of good things about this. I've never really played a Monster Hunter game. I've dabbled, but they've always been on the 3DS and the DS, so I never really got into them. But this one looks fantastic, and there's an elder dragon you can fight and try to hunt. So if you're interested in that, January 18th through the 21st, you can play that on your PlayStation 4. Right now, the beta is only on the PS4. Sure. So check that out if you so choose. So that's going to do it for the news this week. It's going to bring us quickly into our topic, and I don't want to spend a ton of time here, but some. So 2018, there's a lot of really great games we're looking forward to coming out. Obviously, Spider-Man is going to be coming out. Red Dead Redemption 2 is supposed to be coming out. You know, there's a lot of really cool things coming. What I want us to talk about,
I was going to say before we move out of the news real quick, also worth noting, HQ, I know we like joke about it. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah.
It hit, it peaked over 1 million active players, I think last night. I think for the first time. Last night as of this recording, so Sunday the 7th.
Crazy.
And like growing. Like Cecilia and I were just on it earlier, like right before we started recording, and it was over 1 million again. So
that's a lot. A lot of people playing that. It's
crazy.
Fun. Get on it.
And like that being like the last time that we played it, I think just the previous night was like 700,000 some. So
yeah, it's been that pretty consistently.
It's crazy.
So, very cool. All right, so the games, the 2018 games, there's lots of big games coming out, and I know we all want to play Spider-Man. I know we all want to play Red Dead Redemption. We're excited for that. I want to know, though, what's the most, how can I word this? How should I word this? The game that will be out the soonest this year, confirmed already, like whether it's February, March, what game on the new releases for 2018 is the next game you're definitely going to play? So when you look at the 2018 release list, what's the one that's coming out the most close to now that you're definitely going to play? Who wants to start us off?
Do you have one, Josh? Are you looking?
Did we misunderstand the question?
Flashes. I thought it was.
No,
yeah, that's what I thought, is that you meant the next game to release.
Yes.
And the reason that you guys can read the outline, I put a couple different choices because it's kind of a shocker to me, because it's not by any means one of my highly anticipated games this year. But I have to say that I think Metal Gear Survive is the game that the first game in 2018 that I'm looking forward to playing.
What about it? What about it interests you? I mean, obviously, it's Metal Gear.
I gotta say, first of all, I love Metal Gear, right? And when we talk about how much did we talk about?
We were obsessed in 2015. It was all we could talk about.
It was insane. And this is what I think. You know, we still to this day, we do not know exactly what went down between Konami and Hideo Kojima, but it's pretty common. I'm not going to say common knowledge, but it's a commonly shared opinion that he was mistreated, or that they did him wrong or something. And so it's been the in thing to do to be, Konami's a joke. We've heard other rumors that they treat their staff bad. And so the idea of a Metal Gear game without Hideo Kojima is laughable.
Right.
But they do have the rights to everything that he's done before. That they have all of the engines, they have a lot of the staff, I imagine, that worked with him. I mean, he wasn't sitting there. That wasn't a one-man show.
Right. I'm sure some of them are still there. Yeah.
So it's not going to be by any means as far as playability and and technical prowess of a Metal Gear game or the look and feel. It's all going to be there.
Yeah, it's going to feel like one.
I've always said, I don't want to buy this game because it's not Hideo Kojima. I don't know if I was ever at that point, but I was definitely on the train of, I'm not going to be interested in this game because whatever Hideo Kojima is going to do is going to be incredible because he's the mastermind behind this stuff. And then when we first started finding out it's going to be like zombies, like you're going to build your fort and then zombies, it's going to be like tower defense, Metal Gear. It wasn't literally until like the last teaser video I saw, and I didn't even, I said I was going to go back and watch it. I never did. I need to do it. But I watched some type of development video on the game, and it showed other things other than the one thing we saw where a guy was Rick from The Walking Dead stabbing a pike through a chain link fence and killing a zombie. It showed a lot of elements that we all love about the Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, where there was survival. You were out there hunting. You were crafting things to stay alive. There was a lot of survival elements that have always spoken to me in games that I play. Like, I really like that style of thing. And when I saw that and I thought, wait a second, kind of reminded me of a little bit about Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid 3, where you were in the jungle and you had to kill animals and eat them, and that you had to just kind of survive out there. But they're taking it to a whole nother level, and I'm thinking Metal Gear Solid skin on top of a game where you're out alone, survivor, you have to kill to eat, you have to make different types of clothes or whatever. Maybe there's traps you can set, maybe there's different kind of weapons you make. That right there is enough to intrigue me to where I need to play this game. I need to see what it's about.
Interesting.
That doesn't mean that my loyalty goes away from
of course not,
but I need to look into it more. I mean, thank God
we
live in the
release date.
Shoot, I think it's
hold on, I can look here.
It's February or March. I think it might be February. No, I think it is February. Anyways,
February 20th.
Yeah, February 20th. Yep.
Yep. February 20th. So I've got to play it, and what I was going to say. Think of this: that we live in 2018, 2017, where you've got the technological advances, where you can basically watch it played on YouTube and see all kinds of stuff. So I'll have a pretty good idea, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna want to play it.
And there is a beta coming out. I forget exactly when, but I think it's this month. There is a beta coming out in the end of January.
Can I throw out honorable mentions?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, other than that, the one that I've had my eye on since it was first announced was Sea of Thieves in March.
Yeah.
And then, of course, right behind that is Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
And I think Far Cry 5 is the sure bet, the AAA giant
for sure play.
Yeah. It's the soonest one to come out.
Yeah. So Sea of Thieves is March 20th, and Far Cry 5 is...
No, it would be the 27th, a week later, 27th,
right? Yeah, 27th,
yeah.
Right. Cool. Very good. Very good games. How about you, Josh?
So there's a few on my list. The one that's releasing the soonest that I would say I'm the most excited about is Far Cry 5. Which we just found out recently that's getting pushed back to late March, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it's on the 27th on the list I'm looking at right now.
So I mean, it's a little disappointing. It's not a huge delay though. But I'm a huge fan of the previous games. I didn't play Primal, but I've played all of the other games. And I'm just, again, talking about the capabilities the studios have now with open world games, and knowing the history that franchise has with open world games, and coming from that pedigree. I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the American, plain
Midwest
setting. Yeah. And I for one, I know people are sort of on the fence about whether or not it's going to get political. There are indications that there's definitely going to be some weird religious implications to some of the storyline stuff, and I'm really excited to see what of that topic and those topics they're going to explore. So it looks, I mean, everything about it looks so good to me. So that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay.
I'm also interested in A Way Out, which is releasing before that. I would say I'm not quite as excited about that. But it still looks really good. Just the thing for me with that is that you have to play with another player.
Yeah, tandem.
And just like trying to figure out like times to play with somebody, I think is a challenge.
That's March 23rd for that one.
Yeah, and then in November, my honorable mention would go to a game called Vampyr, Vampyr. I think I mentioned it. It's probably been a few months at least ago on the podcast, maybe longer than that. But like, it's a game I've had my eye on for a while. I don't remember the name of the studio now that I'm thinking about it. Don't Nod and Focus Home Interactive are working on it, but it's like a Victorian era London, like 1800s London, I think. Like RPG about like an epidemic, if you would call it that, of like vampirism that like sweeps through, I think it's London. But like from everything that I've read and I've watched some like developer commentary on it, like they're exploring themes about like the morality, like you explore themes of morality, the morality of being a vampire. So there's like an RPG system of like upgrading your character and different story choices you can make. But it looks, from everything that I'm hearing, it looks like you'll have choices to make about like whether to feed on humans or not, and like you'll have to struggle with that decision every time you do it. And like it seems like a really interesting subject to tackle. You know, we'll see how good it is. Like, it's definitely a smaller studio. So like I feel like I have a soft spot for like those indie games anyway, but it seems really interesting to me. So that's coming in November. So it's still quite a ways away, but
yeah. All right. Very good. For me, the first one coming out coming out on February 6th, and that's Shadow of the Colossus. I never played that game on the PS3, right?
Yeah.
Is that when it came out? Yeah. So it looks awesome with the giant, golems or whatever they call them, titans, and just the whole environment is what looks exciting to me. And because I never played it, I definitely want to. I know there's some people that are a little worried that the nostalgia they have, it may not live up to that, even with the remaster of everything. But that's the very first one, or the soonest one to release that I'm looking forward to for this year. So good thing for that is it gives me a lot of January to catch up on some other things. And that was kind of the thought process on doing this, is how much time do you have to play all the games you're wanting to play before the very next game comes out that you've got to get to. And it sounds like for you guys, it's going to be a good 2 months, because you're both mid to late March on the ones that you've mentioned. So that gives us a lot of time. A shout out, I have a Secret of Mana remake. That's coming out February 15th. I really would like to play that game again. It's been real long, and just to play it in a kind of refashioned graphics is exciting to me. So those are the two I'm looking forward to. Let us know here in the comments of the video, or on the Facebook page, what game has got you most excited, the soonest release date here that's coming out in 2018 that you're most excited for. If we didn't mention it, or if we missed something, let us know. Obviously, Spider-Man and Red Dead, those are going to be up high in the list, but those are a ways off. Don't even have dates on those specifically. So there we go. Those are the games we're looking forward to in 2018. We're going to finish up this podcast. It's been a good, hefty, meaty podcast for you, coming out fresh.
Juicy.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go that far, but you did. Going into the 2018, and we're gonna finish it off with the toothpick with a little olive on top of it, with Game Scoop's 20 questions.
Scoop!
Josh has chosen the game this week, and Dave and I will undoubtedly guess it correctly before the 20 questions are up. Are you ready for us, Josh?
I am ready.
Dave, start us off.
All righty. Josh, in this game, do you control a human? Male.
Yes.
Wait, Dave wasn't finished. What? A human what?
I've learned a lot of tricks in my days.
So,
technically,
what is your
I
actual
said male
question?
before you said yes. I was asking if it was a human male.
Sure, fine. I'll give it to you. Yes, you do.
wow. Whew.
Davis
All right.
Trixie.
Oh, Trixie Hobbits. Did this game come out before January 1st, 2000?
No.
Not before. Did this game come out after January 1st, 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Is this game on a current generation console?
Yes.
Did this game originally release on the Xbox 360, PS3 generation of consoles? It's a PC game, Chad.
He hasn't answered that yet.
I know he doesn't know when it released, but he had to think about it being on a current gen console. So it must be a PC game that is also playable on console or a handheld game, right?
Okay, so your question was, did it release on the PS3 360 generation?
Yes.
So the answer to that would be yes.
But it's also on current gen.
Yeah, he didn't play it. He either played it on current gen and he didn't know. But here's the thing. No, he didn't play it on current gen because he had to think about it. It has to be PC. He played it on Steam or something. And it came to current gen.
Okay, so it's also on.
So I would say don't infer too much from that hesitation. I just had to figure out like how exactly to answer that question.
Which one? Have to infer something from that.
Yeah, which question did you have? Because you hesitated on both. You hesitated on is it on current playable on current?
I had to look up. I had to look. I feel like I'm giving away so much extra information. Just my answer about whether it is on current gen or not. I paused a second because I had to process in my brain whether Chad was asking if it's on current gen or if it released on current gen. Oh, that's the only reason I paused.
Okay. So, okay. Did you just? I just asked that question, so it's your question.
That's if you have one ready, go ahead.
Is there multiplayer?
No.
Okay. So play as a human. All right. No multiplayer. Is this a first-person game?
No.
Not first person.
Nope.
So is it played in a third person perspective, like an over the shoulder type perspective?
What's happening?
Wait, sorry, Dave. Were you asking me that question, or were you talking to Chad?
No, I'm asking you. Sorry, I was asking you, Josh.
No, not third person.
So not first person, not third person.
Okay, but you're human male, no multiplayer.
It's either top down or what? Or it's a puzzle game.
Josh, is this a puzzle game?
Could be a racer, I guess.
No.
Not a puzzle game.
It could be a racing game.
Sure.
Are we at 10 yet? Are we just under 10?
Next one will be 10.
That was... Oh, I thought that was 8.
2 more will be 10.
I actually thought it was 7. So it says let's see. All right. So current gen, played on current gen, but it was released last gen. So it was either released
simultaneously.
Yeah. No. Josh, do you pilot a vehicle in this game?
No.
It's Resogun, which was on my mind for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Resogun come out at the beginning of PS4 and also come on PS3?
It was not on PS3.
It's only PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Well, I mean, still,
that still narrows something. Let's see here. Do you shoot guns in this game?
Yes.
Could it be
That's
Volume
10.
that you talked about? Volume came out late PS4. I don't think it was. It would have been last
on PS3. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So. And what did you? I'm sorry. What did you just ask?
If you shoot guns, and it is a yes.
So we didn't clarify that it's top down, but what else could it be? Because a point and click is still going to be first person perspective, correct? If you're controlling,
if you're playing as a player, it could be a side-scrolling game
You're
too.
controlling a human male.
Could be side-scrolling.
Yes, it could be side-scrolling. Is this a side-scroller, Josh?
No.
I mean, if it's a fighting game, it's still not a side-scroller.
I would consider a fighting game a side-scroller.
Well, it doesn't scroll at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's a
fighting
2D game. Fair, yeah.
But it's no multiplayer. True. It's not going to be a
multiplayer. Yeah, no multiplayer. Okay. Sorry. Let's think top-down games that you shoot. Man. Josh, does this have any RPG elements to it?
Yes.
Okay. Like Diablo sticks in my mind. You don't necessarily shoot
multiplayer, yeah.
Gun, yeah, and multiplayer. Okay, yep. So that's out.
Even Diablo 2 and Diablo 1?
Diablo 2 and 1 didn't come on the current gen, though.
Correct. Correct. What Divinity Original Sin, his game he likes, that's multiplayer. All those games, all those dungeon crawlers usually have multiplayer.
I wonder if it's one I'm not super familiar with. You're shooting guns, RPG elements to it. We haven't confirmed it's top down, but it's not first person, not third person, not side scroller.
Yeah, what top down games like that don't have? Oh, could it be like a Hitman Go type game? Could it be
shooting a gun? Could be, sure, but no, it's not a puzzle game.
I forgot that. So you said you asked if it's a puzzle game, not a puzzle game. You asked if you shoot guns. Yes,
we do. Yep.
So those are still considered puzzle games. You're right. They definitely are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What about Temple of Osiris? Lara Croft, Temple of Osiris. Multiplayer.
Yep. Okay, so how else do we narrow it down? Do we need to ask if it's top down? Do we need that information, or are we just going to assume that?
Let's ask, yeah. What are we at, 11?
This will be 13, I believe.
Sure? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
This will be 13, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and ask.
Is this a top-down perspective, Josh?
Yes.
Okay, there. That's out of the
way. All right. Is this a like a franchise?
Mm-hmm. Good one.
No.
Okay. Single release.
Shoot.
Came out last gen.
But it's also
current gen.
Right. Top-down shooter.
Top-down shooter. Single player. No multiplayer.
No multiplayer. Because, I think Bro, what's the Bro game?
What about
scrolling?
Bro Force.
Multiplayer.
What about the game that I like, Hotline Miami?
Sure.
Did that come out last gen?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't think so.
What about that weird game that I played that Josh has also played, Party Hard? No, that didn't come out last gen.
Right.
That's shoot. Games where you shoot. You are a human male. Human male. So, by the way, he answered the first very intelligently designed question. It doesn't seem like you can play as another character unless it's just another human male.
Right.
Are there horror elements to this game?
No.
I'm blanking out, man.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That was 13. That was
14 or 15. That was 15.
That was 15.
That was 15.
Oh crap. Last gen. No. Okay, we got to think about this. It's not a franchise. It's one game that was released. That's one of the reasons why it's harder to pick out. But it should be easier to pick up because of that. If we could just fixate on it. So it's playable on current gen. How do why is it playable on current gen? If it was released last gen,
They could have just done a just like.
But Josh might not have played it on current gen. He might have just known that it came to. Remember when he had to think about it?
Yeah.
Maybe he played. Well, he also had to think about last gen too.
Let me ask.
So he must have played.
Josh, do you have
I'm
going to ask if there's melee weapons as well, like swords. Because I'm thinking Torchlight. That's a top-down. It's a top-down dungeon crawler. I don't think there's multiplayer in it. I'm not sure if you shoot guns, but I do know there are like swords and spears and things, and you can upgrade your weapons. And it's similar to Diablo. But that I do know that came on last gen. I'm not 100% sure it's on this gen, but I think so.
Because this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
For the most part, Josh has only played PS4 current gen.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm thinking about games that also came to PS4. So I mean, a lot of games you can play on Xbox One that were last gen, but It's not the case with PS4. I mean, they've got PS Now. They do have ways you can play it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Go ahead. Ask your melee.
Josh, are there melee weapons? Do you use melee weapons like swords and stuff in this game also?
Yes.
Top down.
And I don't know how to narrow down Torchlight anymore.
Is Torchlight a one-off?
It's a good question. I think so, but I don't know. Like, I feel like he's going to say it and we're going, oh, yeah, of course.
Can you play it on PS4?
I'd say that's another one. I think so, but I don't know for
Josh,
sure.
is this a well-known popular game?
I would say it's well known. I would say it's fairly well known.
That might have been a dumb question. I guess it's kind of
it's a hard question to answer, but I'll say like I know for sure that you both are aware of this game. If not,
that helps.
If not have played it, I know for sure you both are aware of it.
We don't even know anything about the developer, and I don't know if that would have helped.
Is this a Sony exclusive game, Josh?
No.
That
was 18.
That is something we didn't ask early. Is we found out it was last gen and current gen, but we didn't know.
Yeah, no
consoles.
Again, a little rusty. It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while. So we have two questions. We have one question and a guess.
You're out of questions, I'm assuming.
Kinda.
Top down plays a man.
He look like a man.
Shoot. It's no multiplayer.
No multiplayer.
Gen. But
Playable current gen.
It can't be volume. It can't be.
You have guns, and you also have melee weapons. It has RPG elements.
Well, it can't be Hotline Miami because it's not part of the franchise. Party Hard.
Not on last gen.
Yeah, and then I think that kind of would have been because it's not horror. There's no horror elements either, or it's not a horror game. Is that what I asked?
Yeah, horror elements.
I said horror elements.
Yeah. I would just guess Torchlight because I don't have any other questions to ask, and I don't know how to narrow that down anymore because I'm aware of it. Are you aware of that game, Dave?
No, I'm not.
No,
I don't think it could be that game because I don't know what Torchlight
no
is.
idea. Yeah, and it's known. I don't know if I'd call it well known, but he's I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Yeah, but he said he knows for sure that we both know about this game. Torchlight it's not Torchlight. Is this like the art style? Is this a realistic art style game?
No.
So either cartoony or like polygonal or like an old a retro style.
Yeah.
Is there any other game like Party Hard? Because Party Hard, you're killing people. That's definitely horror elements, right? It's like a teen. And you're saying for sure it didn't come out last gen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can also play as different characters in that game too. It's not Halo Wars. It's not. So you can use melee weapons and stuff.
Huh.
And we have one more question and a guess.
We have a guess. We're on question 20.
We asked the other questions. I asked if it was realistic and what else.
Sony exclusive, well known. I have no guess. I don't have any idea.
Dang it, Josh, man. Back out of the gates in here. We're going to kick ourselves.
We give. What do you got?
I really didn't think this was going to be this hard.
Just stop and tell us what it is.
I'm not trying to be pithy.
Wait a second. Let's play it this way. I will accept a loss if we cannot get it with one small hint.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't get a lot of hints.
Oh my
right?
God.
The big hint that we got, I legitimately pulled out with my smarts on the first question.
Your finesse.
We usually get a hint. Okay. Come on, one hint.
A hint.
Not a giveaway.
I'm trying to find the middle ground. Okay. Same developer as one of the games I played. As one of the games on my list of games I played this episode.
Oh, goodness.
Bastion. It's Bastion.
Please it. Guess.
Is it Bastion, Josh?
Yes, it's Bastion. Was that too big of a hint?
I'll still accept a loss.
Yeah, we lost that. But, yeah.
So
I never played Bastion.
When I chose this game,
I've heard you guys talk about.
That's a good one.
I didn't realize that it came out so long ago. It was released July 20th, 2011. Originally on Xbox Live Arcade.
Right. That's where I played it.
Because it was originally developed for like a Penny Arcade Expo. And then it picked up so much steam. Didn't do that on purpose, but it was so popular that it went to Windows on Steam, and then Supergiant Games made it available as a browser game for Google Chrome, and then it released for Mac and in the App Store, and then it went to the Vita and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One later. So it's had a lot of releases since its initial release, but I had no idea when I chose this game that it was 7 years old. I didn't realize that, but made by Supergiant Games. I think the first game that studio made.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's just so good. Yeah. You guys were so close. So for the record, Torchlight, there are 2 of them. There's Torchlight and Torchlight 2. It is only on PC. And it does have Torchlight 2 at least does have multiplayer, at least local, I think.
So I was way off,
if not over on an internet connection. But yeah, man, Bastion, like
good game, good choice.
I just remember that being a solid all around game, like great RPG elements. The soundtrack is amazing. I love the narration. Art style is great. Just a great game. And I had, since I played so much Pyre recently, I've had Supergiant on the brain. So
cool. Well, we screwed the pooch, but that's all right. It's a good one.
You guys were really close though. You were close. You were right around it when you guys were talking about like Diablo and Torchlight. And, like,
yeah, maybe I should try to play it. I mean, I've never played it.
It's good.
I couldn't,
narrator.
Like even saying it right now, I can't picture other than knowing that it's a top-down shooter with that's the only thing I know about this game. I don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah, it's cool.
Pretty decent length too. I would say like the main story is maybe 6-ish hours.
Yeah, once we ever finished it.
It's really good.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, there you go. Our first L. We should keep track of wins and losses this year.
That would be fun.
So many questions. So starting off the 2018 year with an 0-1 record. That's right, 0-1. No, good game. Good podcast, guys. If you would like to check us out on YouTube and you just listen to us on audio, head over to our South Dakota Gamer YouTube channel. Hit us subscribe on there. I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to be a subscriber because we're going to do some cool things specifically for YouTube this year. So you're going to want to at least check it out once in a while. If you'd like to help us out even more, head over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer. Toss us $1 or $2. We're going to revamp some of the awards and the rewards for the Patreon tiers and redo that for you as well. Have some cool things available for all our supporters. We do thank you for those of you that are with us, giving us your hard-earned money. It helps us do this podcast, helps us give away a PlayStation 4. Nothing?
What?
Okay, there it is. Like we did last year, and we look forward to doing some amazing things this year as well. So stay tuned. Thank you for being here. 2018 is going to be a good year for the South Dakota Gamer podcast. And all its listeners, we look forward to spending it with you. Until next week.
Sizzlers?
Yeah, Sizzlers. We're going to go to Sizzlers. We're going to Sizzler.
We're going to Sizzler.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Guys,
goodbye.
Check it out. I have this awesome new sign-off I want to try out. You guys just tell me what you think.
Josh,
Ready?
it's weird.
Here we go. Piece of pizza.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. Never heard
I
of
love it.
Josh,
I think I'm going to stick with it this year.
Josh, I honestly cannot believe that you did that because I was seriously sitting here thinking, what can I come up with for a new sign-off for 2018? And then I was just about to say that I'm going to think of one and come up with it later. And then you said that. So now I have to.
Josh's piece of pizza. Have one.
I wanted to get in on the thunder stealing. I wanted to see what it felt like.
Feels good.
It's unsettling.
I haven't stolen any of your thunders now. Now you owe me a thunder. Josh, okay. Chad still owes me 3 at least.
All right, Chad, mark it down. Josh owes Dave 1 thunder.
Chad owes
Dave 3 thunders.
Thunder 3. All right. Thunders. There.
Yeah. That's a total of 4 thunders Dave has in the bank.
Let's end this thing. It's becoming ridiculous. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Adios.
Yes, you should be Spanish from now on. That's right.